What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are working on filling some holes in the engine bay and getting this thing ready for paint. We have everything else painted except for the engine bay. If you haven't seen the last video, go back and watch it. We actually rewrapped the harness that is going on the new block. Turned out super sick, so if you guys haven't watched that, definitely go check out the last video. So like I said, we're working on filling holes today. A couple of the holes that I have are from removing the battery tray as well as removing the stand that was kind of sitting right here. That's what held the windshield washer fluid, which I actually have not had in the car for over a year now. So I need to fill this. Kind of gets flat right here, so I'm gonna put the body filler on top and kind of get it as round as possible. I'm gonna try and not allow this to take up so much of my time, just because I want the engine bay to look as good as possible, but I'm also not a professional body work guy, so I'm gonna try to do as best as I can but not worry about it too much, because like I said, I want everything in this to be DIY. So I picked up some body filler and let's get started. I actually have done body work before. Back in high school we did that, as well as I actually filled in my roof. Had concave kind of waves and I couldn't get all the dents out from the inside, so I ended up filling that in and actually did a pretty decent job. So I do have experience with some body filler stuff. Still not a pro, but let's get started. So I actually went ahead and cleaned the surface just with some rubbing alcohol to get all the dirt and grime off. Right here, a little bit down here, and then the holes that kind of go around along the bottom. Right now, this is the only stuff that I think I'm going to be filling in on this side. We'll get to that side in a minute, but this is the main side that needs some help before we can get to paint. This is a Bondo that I'm using. You can buy this pretty much at Home Depot, Lowe's, AutoZone. This is like just typical. This is the, I guess you would call it the stage 2. Got a little more than I wanted on there, but that's alright, we can always sand it down. It's hard to reach the squeegee down on the different spots, but that's alright. I guess it would be better to add more front, because you can always sand it down, rather than doing too little and then you still have the same divots or holes that you were starting out with anyways that you're trying to fix. So as you can see, I'm actually using a pizza box to put the body filler on. Just a little tip here, if you actually leave the body filler harden onto the squeegee that you're using, it makes it easier to get the excess off once it's dry, because it actually will crack off rather than trying to get all the goo off right now. It'll actually just come off as one piece if you let it dry. Pro, but I'm not a pro tip.
Aw, damn, I was going in for that hot sweet.
What's up?
What's up?
We're here at, God, my hands are still cold. We're here at Boosted Creations. Today we are sandblasting some engine components. You guys saw in the last video that I was taking off. I was taking off the alternator as well as power steering pump, and we have the brake booster with us as well. We're gonna sandblast these things and get them ready for paint, because it is much better than sitting with a piece of sandpaper and trying to sand down all of this stuff. So you guys have seen us sandblast before. It's our second round at it, so let's have some fun. Boy, we got a lot of good stuff today. So right now I'm gonna mask off the brake booster so we don't get sand inside of the port. We're also gonna have to do this for the power steering pump and the couple other things. What else do we have? The alternator, we're definitely gonna have to mask off some stuff before we do that. But let's get it mashed. Nice. Oh, I missed a little bit.
Oh, come on, dude. You're joking?
So sorry.
What are you doing? That's like the smallest piece and you're missing it?
I'll catch you in a minute. Hold on.
Okay, see you later. So the brake booster is looking pretty nice. It was all black and now it's kind of like a graphite, so it definitely did its job. So is this getting painted the same color as the engine bay?
No, this will be gloss black. So the engine bay will be, let's bleep it out. Actually, I don't even know what it's called. So
I mean, they don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be the same thing. So
the engine bay will not be gloss black, but everything, like the pieces that are going to be on top of it, are going to be gloss black, so it contrasts against the color, I hope. But that's pretty much the plan. And this was easier than just sanding everything by hand. So I think we're going to move on to the that we tried last time, but the grit was not large enough.
It wasn't gritty enough.
Yeah, at Ryan's house. So this has much thicker medium. So we'll see if it comes up.
Let's do it.
Alright, we are now back at the house. I got a lot of sandblasting done. Not all of it is done, but most of it is done. After I show you guys the first clip last night, I was sanding the Bondo down and getting it pretty flush. I got some good points down last night, but obviously it's going to take a while to get everything sanded down to perfection, or as best as I can actually do. So I'm going to spend the rest of tonight sanding more of the car. So this is going to probably take a couple days to actually get down, but yeah, let's get back to sanding. What's up, guys? It's probably like day 3 now, I think. I actually went to Harbor Freight, bought a couple tools that I thought I was going to need, as well as a sander, because my hands hurt from sanding so much. Let's see, I picked up a heat gun, because you never know when you're going to need a heat gun, and it was only like $10, I think it was on clearance. Obviously some stuff from Harbor Freight is going to break, but we'll test it out. I got a little polisher tip right here that I'm going to use to polish up my exhaust, as well as, let's see, some sanding stuff goes with that. And actually Cody got me some Never Dull. This is some polish stuff for the exhaust as well that I'm going to try out. So got a couple little tools that I think I'm going to need around, especially this one's going to help us with sanding for the car. So let's get back to work. I thought I may as well just unbox this sander real quick. I think this was 25 bucks for this one. So we'll see if it's any good. Got our filter and the sander itself. These I think you're actually supposed to eat. I'm just kidding, don't do that. Ah, here we go. The Warrior Sander. So we'll see if this is any good. I'm not sure if it's going to be, but actually, I don't know if this is this a filter? It might be a filter. And yeah, that's a sander. Let's put it together. This almost fits. And that's it. So I got a couple of sanding pads as well. It says it comes with 80 grit, 100 grit, and 120. So I think we're gonna start off with the 120, since we're not actually sanding too much. I mean, we are, but not really thick stuff. Slap this guy on, and there we go. I'll tell you what, having power tools is way better than doing everything by hand, which I used to do everything by hand. Now I'm like, I don't have time to do all this, so I want to do it with a power tool, and it definitely makes a difference. Alright, I just went back and laid another round of some Bondo. I found a couple more spots up there on top of that existing spot. Right here, there was actually like waves from factory that I didn't happen to do from like cutting the brackets, because the brackets only went on top right here. They didn't go down to here. It was almost like there was folds in the metal from factory, so I filled that in, because if I didn't do that and paint it, I would be kind of mad that I didn't do it. Also did a couple small little places down here where it looked like there was actually scratches into the metal. So these ones are just going to be very, very small, kind of like pinholes that we're filling in. I'm kind of just going around. There's another one right there, very small. Trying to get as many of the small ones that I can done, just because I may as well do it while everything's getting done. So definitely want to do this in one shot. Also, this one over here, sanded this down a little bit and found that there was a little kind of crater in the middle, so I filled that just with a tiny bit again, and then I'll go back and sand over that. This one's looking all right. Got this one pretty good. Actually, there's a little hole there, can't really see on camera, but go back and fill that in. So it's a lot of trial and error for this stuff. While I'm letting the Bondo dry for that second round, normally I would let it sit for about like 30 minutes. I'm actually going to get to work on the exhaust, the catback portion of it, because it is a little crusty. It's not super rusty, but it's crusty from being on the car for a couple winters, I think like 2. So I'm going to go through and clean up with this. And I also have this bit right here that has like cotton on it, and it says it's good for polishing up metal, old metal. So we'll see. I'm gonna put it on the drill, but let's take a look at the exhaust. Here's how the exhaust sits before. So I'm gonna go through and try and clean up as much of this as possible. On the new downpipe that I actually have an NVIDIA downpipe, and it has never been used, so it looks way nicer than this portion. So I just want everything to kind of match and stay as clean as possible. And then we might even be able to coat this so it doesn't happen over time again. Alright, so I just went over it with the Never Dull pad. You can see it already is looking better. Haven't even touched it yet with the microfiber to get the residue off, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and it already is looking way better than it did before. That looks much better, even for just going at it for about 5 minutes. It could go longer, and obviously could get like some more product into it to buff it out, but this is looking pretty good already. Just got done with this middle section, also looking way better than what it did before. Alright, I just went back upstairs and I actually took out my fog lights. I'm going to take these to work tomorrow and see what I can do with them as far as putting demon eyes in them. I want to get them color changing so that they match the headlights. They're in pretty bad shape just because of the mounts, and then there's a little bit of corrosion in the back, but I think I can clean them up and get some demon eyes in there. But I think that's going to be it for tonight. I'll see you guys whenever I pick up the camera again, hopefully soon. We'll see you.